bag is equivalent to 2 bags of concrete. This is 100 pounds of concrete. Okay? So 1 bag of this is equal to 2 bags of Post Fix. Now it is an expansion foam product. It's a high density foam. It takes 2 components mixed together. This pouch is actually divided into 2. Now, in order to use the product, we need some high-tech equipment. We need the scissors, okay? That's all you need. So 1 packet of this will do a 3-foot deep hole, 8 inches in diameter, with a 4x4 fence post. It's recommended that when you do this, you set your post in place, get it steady first, shore it up straight. Then you take the package, open it out, take it out of the bag like this, put it down flat, just start rolling from one direction and then apply some gentle pressure like that. The seal in between is broken. Now you mix it back and forth for about 20 to 30 seconds. Okay? What you want is the 2 components to mix nice and evenly together. After about 30 seconds is when the expansion starts to happen. You can feel the package will start to warm up once the expansion begins. You just take your scissors, you cut the end off of it like that. And when you're applying the product, it's recommended don't pour it into the hole, but pour it onto the post. Let it run down the post. Because what this is going to do for you, it will seal the post away. So in winter time, for example, when you have snow sitting up against the post, anywhere that this product comes into contact with will be sealed against wood rot. Right? So you have the protection of a sealed post below grade. Now the colder it is, the slower the expansion will take place, okay? So, for example, this product can be used down to minus 30 degrees. Okay, that's not to say that the product can be frozen. At minus 30 degrees, the product will be frozen. So what you gotta do is you have to bring the product inside. Once it's room temperature or usably warm, then you can apply it. Once you've poured the package in, you have typically about 10 seconds that you can reposition your post, move it around, and then expansion starts to begin. It takes 3 minutes to expand, typically. Okay? You'll notice there's a little bit, the color has changed out here. This is now sealed above grade. The product that's in here, this is a 3-foot deep hole. 8 inches in diameter. This is 1 cubic foot of material. A bag of cement is half a cubic foot of material. So that's why this is equivalent to 100 pounds of concrete. So in terms of when you're selling this to a customer, it takes 3 minutes to expand. In 2 hours, you can hang your fence. The leveling of the post should be done prior to you pouring the product. Or what will happen if you, once the expansion starts, it starts to seal itself against the post, okay? So you don't want to disturb the post after about 10 seconds. After you've poured it for about 10 seconds, you don't want to touch the post again, because then you can start to break the bond. The advantage of a product like this instead of concrete is you have no mixing of cement. You don't have to keep lugging around 100-pound bags of concrete. There's no cleanup after. This is your cleanup. It also seals the post against wood rot, because now that's why we pour it above grade, so that if snow and ice is now sitting up against the post, in temperatures like this, it's not rotting into the wood, so the wood is now sealed. That's another advantage. The other thing about this is that this product actually bonds with the post. It can be used on wood, metal, or PVC posts. It's now bonded with the post so that if you try to, the pull strength of this is stronger than concrete. The pull strength. When concrete cures, concrete shrinks and it shrinks away from a post. Right? This is actually bonded to the post. So you would actually, in our tests, we were able to pull concrete posts mounted in concrete out easier than we were able to pull it out of the foam.
Very strong in extension,
The pull strength is stronger than concrete because it's bonded to the post.
but not very strong.
It's not meant to be used on decks. It's meant to be used for fences. And the reason is, it is a high density foam. It doesn't have the strength, the compression strength of concrete, which you need in a deck application. When we're talking about fences, we're dealing with a different kind of force. We're dealing with shear force, shear strength. So the weakest part of any fence is the dirt that's around the post, not the material that the post is mounted into. Again, the weakest part of the fence is the dirt that is holding the material in place, not the concrete or the foam. Right? Because if the dirt around is not solid and compact, this whole thing will move. Right? And that's where you'll have a weak fence. The material that the fence is mounted into is not the weakest point. So when we're talking about fences, we're talking about shear strength. Because the forces of wind is hitting the fence like a sail this way. So that's where you need the strength. And because this is bonded to the post, you have very good strength now. Make sense? Okay, so just to recap, 3 minutes to expand, 2 hours you can hang your fence. It works on wood, metal, or PVC. It's for fencing, not for decks. It can seal. It will seal the post away from moisture. 1 pouch is equivalent to 100 pounds of concrete. It's 1 cubic foot of material. Okay. Now, another question you probably get when the customers will say, "Well, what do we do with all of this stuff? I don't like it. It's ugly." Just wait for the 2 hours when the expansion is finished, and then you can just take a knife and just cut it off. Yep, just a regular X-Acto knife, you can cut it off, or you can take a weed whacker and cut it off. But when that happens, you're still going to have the protection of a sealed post. So you can actually cut that down and then cover it up with the dirt so you don't even see the see the foam. But the post is still protected and it's still strong in the ground. So you think about it, when you're inviting your buddies over to help you build the fence, you don't want to be lugging these around. So the choice would be I can take half a pallet of this, or I can take a shopping cart and put a box of that in. So 1 box, 20 bags of six. One of those. Each one of these is equivalent to 2 bags of this. In terms of price point, you are looking at $15.98 for 1 bag of this. $14 is what it would cost you to use the post haze. In addition to that, we do not use a sauna tube. Don't use a sauna tube with this. That's an additional $4 per hole savings. Because a sauna tube, an 8-foot sauna tube is about $8. We cut that down and have 2 for 2 holes. That's an additional $4. If you were to use this with sauna tube, you're looking at $14 for the product and then another $4 for the sauna tube. You're now at $18 a hole. So this actually works out less expensive in that regard. Okay? Any questions on the Post Fix? All right. It's faster, it's easier, it's cleaner to work with. It's a high density foam. The only exception to using this is that when you pour it in the hole, you have to make sure there is no water in that hole. Okay? Because as you saw, it went in as a liquid. So if there's water in the hole, it will get diluted before it has time to react. Now Now, once this has happened, if it starts raining right now, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant at this point. It's just that initially when you pour it in, it can't be, if there's water, you know, you're down at the water table, all you gotta do is pour some sand or dirt back in there so that the water isn't sitting as a puddle in the bottom.
What is that dirt? Dirt?
This?
Yeah.
It's a high density foam.
Put high density foam.
Yeah.
So when you broke the seal in the bag, how long do you use? About 30 seconds? You wait
You have
for
about
it?
30 seconds, yeah, to mix it.
Can we use this for the jam or the doors?
No, it'll just roll right out. It'll pour out. It's a liquid. Now, if this ever happens here where you have the spill like that, don't worry about it. Let it finish expanding, and then you can just scrape it right up. You have a little shiny spot of concrete. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Well, we're going to talk about some other products now. So this is the Post Fix. We'll put this aside.